Fuad here back on Behind the Gloves with another interview. I'm joined by the one and only Frank Warren. Frank, how are you?
I'm good, young man. How are you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. Happy to be here. Friday night, another brilliant night for Daniel Dubois. Should he? Yeah, well, we do. But the title of the card is Every Belt. Is that the case now? Is it literally every step? Because there's been so much talk about, the publicity of Daniel just blowing up and him going right to the top. Is it really a step-by-step process?
Well, that's how it's been up to us yet, and it depends what opportunities present themselves. But he wants to win all the belts. The Commonwealth became available with this guy Ebenezer Tete, so it's a fight he's taken. It's a tough fight for him. On paper, Tete's 19 wins, undefeated, 16 by knockout. The word we're hearing back from the gym is that when he has sparred with Latte, that he's got the better of Latte. And we see what happened when Latte came over. It was an explosive fight between him and Daniel. So hopefully we're going to get some fireworks on Friday night.
Has it come to the point with Daniel now where you don't really have to sell him the show, sell him himself? We know the press conference, there's not much being said, but he's got to the stage where do you think the publicity is right up there for Daniel?
Well, I think that, everybody in boxing knows what he's about. They know that he's an exciting fighter. He's a big puncher. He's obviously developing now into a better boxer than when he started out. He's getting to become a much, much better fighter. I think that our job now is to get him to cross over so the general public know he is, and that's been happening recently, and fingers crossed that's the direction we're going to be going in.
Certain comments coming from Daniel saying he's ready for the likes of Tyson Fury. You obviously promote both. What do you make of those comments?
Look, he's a very ambitious young man, Daniel, and obviously he's still got a way to go. For me, Tyson's the number one heavyweight in the world. He's tied up at the moment with a contractual obligation to fight against Deontay Wilder, who's also got a fight in November. Provided he comes through, they get their fight on. And who knows, maybe towards the end of next year, that may be a fight that happens. But at the moment, that's not a fight that is going to happen.
And seeing as though we're talking about Tyson Fury, a very hard-fought fight in Las Vegas over the weekend. First of all, how is he? How's the cut?
He had his stitches out yesterday, and he told me, I haven't seen it myself, he said the eye seems to have healed well, and it's just a matter of time. It's going to take a long while because the skin's got to get stronger, the scar tissue's got to get stronger, and there's a healing process, and hopefully he'll be okay to be taking his fight, providing Deontay comes through his fight against Ortiz. These guys, there's no foregone conclusion with any of these fights. Wallin was going to be, according to everybody, a walk in the park for Tyson. He got a bad cut, a very bad cut that impaired his vision and his performance. But the fighter that he is, he still came through, won it convincingly on points, despite that handicap, and showed what he's all about. From a heart perspective. Yet again, he dug deep as he did against Deontay Wilder when he needed to. Anything can happen. Undefeated fighters. Wallin was an undefeated fighter. He sensed blood. There was a lot of blood, and he thought that the referee may stop it because of that, and that urged him and impelled him to, keep pressing the fight to Tyson. And it's the same with this guy who's coming in. 19 wins, 16 knockouts. He can bang.
A lot of people were saying because it was Tyson, the fight was sort of dragged on. Because it was a punch, it wasn't a clash of headwaters. That would have been a stoppage victory for Otto Wallin. Do you sense that? Obviously, with it being Tyson, what do you make of them comments from the fans?
What the fact that he was cut and it was a punch?
The fact that if it was anyone else bar Tyson, that the fight could have been stopped, but because it was Tyson in Vegas, they let it drag on more than what they should have.
Well, I don't know if it's saying it's good Vegas. He's a British boxer and it was a Swede, so not because it was in Vegas. I've seen fights with American fighters with bad cuts being allowed to go on. The fact of the matter is, despite that handicap, he well won it on points. So the referee obviously felt that it wasn't. That he was in certain amount of control of the fight and allowed it to go on, as did the doctor. So I'm not going to argue with them about that because he did win it, and it was important from his point of view that he did come away with a W.
Just moving on now, I know there's been a lot of talks recently on the other side of the promotions in England with the KSI versus Logan Paul fight. As the opposite promoter, or rival promoter I should say, what do you make of that fight being made?
Well, look, it is what it is. When they made the first one round, we were actually talking to the guy from over here, But it is what it is. I mean, it was an amateur fight then, and they were two guys. I don't believe either of them had an amateur bout or been registered with any clubs in America or in the UK. They had their war over the internet. They got their followers, so they decided they want to settle it in the ring. There's blue collar, white collar fights happening in the UK all the time. That's what it is. For some reason, without any amateur experience, California has allowed them to take professional licenses out. That's up to them. But it is what it is. That's not what I would call, those guys, would they win an ABA title? Would they win, an area title? No, they wouldn't. Not with the experience that they've got. That certainly wouldn't be the case. Regarding the promoter, you're talking about Hearn who's putting it on. He's the same guy, I think it was 6 months ago, said it was a disgrace, it's not boxing. He would never get involved in something like that, and he's a boxing man through and through, and it's not good for the game. Not my words, they were his words, and I'm sure you've heard them and seen them on the internet. I don't know what's changed in the meantime for it to be any different. You've got to ask him that question. What do I feel about it? He needs that. He needs that fight. He needs it for Dazn. Dazn he's not delivered subscribers for Dazn. I think the whole year that he's been working with them, I think he's only delivered for his fights, his promotions, around 70,000 subscribers for all that money they've laid out. That's where it's at. But I don't particularly, care about it. It's not something that I'm going to, get up for in the early hours of the morning to watch. I sort of dipped into the last one, watched it probably a couple of days later. But good luck to those two kids for going out and earning some money, doing what they're doing. But we know what it is, the level what it is, the level it's at. Don't try and dress it up to be anything different than what it is.
Talking about the level, a lot of fans have had a lot to say about, a fighter you formerly promoted now, Billy Joe Saunders, featuring on the undercard. I heard a few things, obviously you saying, it's the big time. You did put on a stadium show, for his last fight, and now he's fighting on the undercard. Do you think it's a sort of a downgrade, or what do you think of that?
But, Bill and I parted on very good terms. It was a mutual decision. I made my mind up where I was at with it, and he made his mind up. So it is what it is. I mean, he's the only one who knows whether it's a step up for him, a step forward. I know that Hearn said he was welcome to the big time. If that's big time, that's big time.
Okay, moving on. Josh Warrington fighting Sufyan Takute. I can't pronounce his name. I think that's how to pronounce it. Yeah. There's been a bit of back and forth with him and Guy Russell Jr. I just want to take your thoughts on. Have you seen the video of Guy Russell Jr. and Leo Santa Cruz's father?
No, I haven't. What was said?
Guy Russell Jr. used Leo Santa Cruz's father as bait to sort of get the fight with him, saying, I could lay hands on him. Leo Santa Cruz's father obviously is very ill. Josh Warrington then followed up with that on Twitter, saying if he did anything like that, he wouldn't have it and he'd fight him. First of all, what did you? Sorry, his dad said he'd lay hands. Guy Russell Jr. said he would lay hands on Leo Santa Cruz's father just to get the fight.
He would fight his dad,
as in just physically.
No, we want to hear all that. His dad's not well, you said. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, I hope he gets better. Look, Santa Cruz didn't want to fight. His son did not want to fight Josh. We made a big offer for him, as we did to Valdez, who's now gone up in weight. Well, let's see where we are. Let's get this fight out of the way. He wants the unification matches, my man, and we're very interested in doing unification. We'll look at the Russell fight afterwards. Absolutely.
And last question, I just want to take your thoughts on a rumour that's floating about Nigel Benn possibly coming back. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't want him to do it. He doesn't. Hopefully, it's not a financial need. If it's he's doing it for other reasons, then he shouldn't be doing it. He's 55 years of age, and I hope, Nigel, you don't do it. Him and I had a very good time together in our early careers. I promoted him for quite a while early on, and then he went off for a few fights, then came back and defended and had quite a few fights on my promotions, and then retired, and I hope he stays retired. I don't want him sitting doing that. It's not good for boxing. It's not good and it's more important, it's not good for Nigel. He shouldn't be doing it.
Frank, you have to go. Thank you for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Hey Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you go ahead and do so by clicking this icon right here and hit the bell button so you can get notified every time we upload a new video. And we also have a free app available on iTunes and Google Play, so make sure you go and download that. Bye Fight fans.